What up, chat? Can you guys hear me? What up, chat? Can you guys hear me? What up? So I got like half an hour before I have to go pick up the kiddo. So I figured we could jump on and hang out for a few minutes. How's your guys' Friday going? Good, I hope. I know we've already got some rainouts happening around the country, which sucks. But you'll have that in big time auto racing. What do you guys do on a Friday? Are you guys like at work? Are you at home? Are you watching me on your phone? Are you watching me on your computer, on your TV? What are you guys doing? Is everybody like me, just like working from home all the time, or what do you guys do? On your phone at work, on your phone at work, phone on a spring break trip. Doug says truckin'. Nice. So what you're telling me is none of you are working right now. You're at work, but you're not working because you're watching my live stream. I love it. Well, we already know today that Word of Outlaws for tonight is canceled because of rain. So supposedly it's nice there today, but they got rain yesterday, and there were text messages going out yesterday saying that if they got a ton of rain that they were going to be in trouble because the grounds were already soft at Big O Speedway. So they canceled. Hopefully we will get in tomorrow at Kennedale for the Word of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. Obviously, we know that the Lucas weekend has been changed to Saturday, Sunday. NARC at Merced is canceled. I saw Port Royal canceled for tomorrow, so it's a little not great out there, but you'll have that in the spring. So no one works when March Madness is going on. That's probably very true. Josh wants to know what I do for a living currently. Well, dirt tracker, and I'm a full-time grad student. Gareth is in Ireland. What up, Gareth from Ireland? Retired. I don't really have any news to share. I just wanted to turn this thing on and talk for a little bit. I think it's probably pretty clear who HUD is driving for at this point. I'm not going to be the guy to spill the beans, but it's probably not hard to figure it out. But obviously, it's what we know is it's only this weekend. I don't know what HUD is going to do after this weekend, like we talked about yesterday. What did you guys think about the Kubota news yesterday? Kubota obviously announcing that they are now the title sponsor of High Limit. And also in that announcement, I don't even know if you guys noticed because it was kind of buried in there, is that Kubota is also now the presenting sponsor of the Flow Racing Night in America series. So it'll be Castrol Flow Racing Night in America series presented by Kubota. So I don't know how much that's out there or not, but it's in there. So Kubota obviously coming into the sport in a very big way. And just so you guys know, we're not done yet with Kubota news. There's other cool stuff coming. So that's all I'm going to say for now, but we're not done yet. So stay tuned for that. Friends at Kubota doing big things in dirt racing, friends. I am going to try to get some stickers made for the new Daily Show logo. I do have hats and shirts right now already on order. That's not like a Kubota thing. That's just a Dirt Tracker thing. But if you guys are interested, we could definitely maybe do some Kubota branded stuff in the future as well. So. Track Rants wants to know if I'm going to dress all in orange. I am actually waiting on a Kubota care package, so hopefully I will have some Kubota gear that I will be able to wear soon. But exciting week, super cool to add Kubota not only to my show, but to also see them step up and sponsor High Limit and the Flow Racing Night in America series. It's always good when new brands, especially big brands like a big multinational company like Kubota, get involved. They obviously see a lot of value in the space. They believe in you guys. They believe in the series and the fans and all of the stuff. So. Steve says, we all knew Fiedler was a high limit Kubota homer. Yep. I can now be called a shill for both World Racing Group and the Outlaws and High Limit. This was my plan all along. Chris wants to know if I'm coming back to Florida anytime soon. I'm actually coming to Florida over spring break, but not to see any dirt racing. It's for family stuff. Shane wants to know how my deal with Kubota came together. It's been a very long process. We've been working on this for almost a year to make this Kubota thing happen. So it's been a lot of work, a lot of patience, but super excited finally this week to be able to share it with you guys. This has been, like I said, it's been in the works for a long time, and it's been approved for a long time, but just trying to find work the timing out and get everything done and contracts and all of that stuff. So obviously really excited for what happened this week. Looks like you guys are down for some Kubota gear. Orange Dirt Tracker hats. Scott says, unfortunately, he can see the people who want High Limit to fail to find a way to see this as a negative. I mean, I don't know how you could even spin signing a title sponsor into a negative. I mean, title sponsor is always good no matter what. And like I've said all along, like if you're hoping for these sides, for either side to fail, right? For World Racing Group and the World of Outlaws to fail or for High Limit to fail, you're probably going to be disappointed. A lot of resources behind both sides. Larry says 5 inches of snow this morning near Green Bay. Oh my God. It was like 80 degrees here in Charlotte this week. Fuzzy Naylor says, any thoughts of the NASCAR Bowman Gray announcement? It's fine. I mean, as long as, the future is secured for Bowman Gray and the racing there. I know everybody thinks that this is going to somehow turn Bowman Gray into something terrible, but I don't see any reason why they would change it. Maybe this will open up some opportunities. Jason Fager. What's up, Fager? How are you, man? He says, what tracks do you personally plan on getting out to this year? I'm actually trying to figure that out now. I went to the Lucas and High Limit show at Golden Isles a few weeks ago, but I'm trying to put together some plans to go to some races this year. Maybe go to Eldora. Obviously now with Kubota's involvement, there's going to be some opportunities for me to do some stuff. So hopefully I'll get out to see some more races this year. But I would like to get to Eldora. I'd like to get to Knoxville. We'll see what else kind of pops up here and other opportunities. The cool thing about Golden Isles was that it's, a 5-hour drive from my house. So it wasn't difficult to get down there. Track Rants wants to know why I won't say who HUD is driving for, because it's not my news to break. We'll let those guys handle their own news. If you notice, like, nobody in the media is really talking about it. So, well, everybody will find out tomorrow for sure. When they roll this thing out of the trailer, you'll know. And honestly, if you look around a little bit, it's not that hard to figure it out. Corey says, I'm out of Charlotte too. Will you be at Ultimate Motorsports for Hunt the Front and the Outlaws? I have no idea. Maybe. I am not going to do these Summer Nationals. Props to those guys that do that. But I've done enough long stretches on the road in my career going racing. We'll leave the Summer Nationals to the professionals now. Have you ever had any plans on doing an asphalt dirt tracker? I have not. I can't even keep up with what I'm doing with dirt tracker. I don't know how I would keep up with something else that's asphalt racing based. I've had plenty of people ask me about it, and obviously with my NASCAR connections, it probably wouldn't be that hard to do, but I just don't have time. Do you guys have racing plans for this weekend? Are you guys headed to the track? You guys going to be watching stuff on streaming? What are you guys going to try to get into this week? Gerald says, I have to say, I would like to see you do local racing tracks weekly shows. I don't really know what that means. Do you want me to go to weekly shows, or do you want me to talk about weekly shows? Colt wants me to go to Lernerville. Power Eye. Steve's going to go Power Eye 360s at Central Arizona. Sounds like Arizona might be the only place that we get stuff in. Got USAC CRA at Kokopah. Ash Tracker doesn't sound very good. Yeah, no, I think I'll leave that one alone. I just dropped my pen. I always like to fiddle with something when I'm like sitting at my desk, so I have all this type of stuff that and then I eventually end up dropping it because I'm stupid. Oh yeah, Attica was another one that got canceled. I saw AJ just say that one. So no racing at Attica tomorrow or tonight. We'll have to wait another week to see those 3-inch sprint car wicker bills. If you guys don't already do so, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you look below, you can hit the subscribe button. We are almost at 30K. I don't know what the number is at the exact moment, but we are super close to 30,000 subscribers. What is the update? The update, 29,913 subscribers at this exact moment. So if you do not subscribe to the channel, I would love for you to do that because that will make sure you don't miss any future episodes. My goal for the year is 40,000. I know some of you want me to go to 50,000 on the goal, but we're going to stick with 40. We're going to be a little conservative. And then if we go beyond that, that'd be great. Billy says, what's the weather look like for the Lucas races? I think tomorrow and Sunday, I think they should be good to go. Yen wants to know what my camera setup is. I actually have two Sonys. This one that I'm on right now that I've been using to stream on is one that I actually got this year that I use for my classes. I'm going to grad school online, and so like a bunch of stuff is on Zoom. And so I wanted something that was like not my Daily Show view. If you want to see my Daily Show view, there's the Daily Show camera. So I have two Sonys. This one is a Sony A7 II. This one is like a cheaper Sony. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly right now what this one is. But two Sonys. It's all wired up. I've got it on camera stands and everything, so I don't have to set anything up. Gerald says he wants me to talk about weekly racing on the show. I'm not going to talk about weekly racing on the show except for a few, big time areas, Central PA, maybe a little bit of Ohio stuff here and there. And we have this conversation all the time, right? It's like, how come you don't talk about this division? How come you don't talk about that division? And it's like, well, when I do talk about those things, and when I have talked about those things in the past, you guys don't click on those videos. So if I can't get you to click on the video, you're not going to watch. And me putting modifieds and weekly racing and, pro stocks and whatever on the thumbnail of the video is not going to get you guys to click on it. And it's like, I'm trying to run a business here. I need more people to view, not less. No talk of TC while the attention on tires and shocks. I have no idea what you're referring to. Feel free to elaborate in the chat. Dalton says, how do you think McCready will do this weekend? I think McCready will probably jump right in. I did hear that McCready was testing last night in the Rocket 1 here in North Carolina. So it sounds like they looked pretty fast. Obviously, it's tough to tell in a test session, how you're going to stack up at a different racetrack. But, I don't see any reason why McCready won't be pretty solid right out of the gate. Obviously, he's got a big hole to climb out of to try to get back up into that championship fight with Lucas. Ken wants to know if I've ever been to Ransomville Speedway. I have not been to Ransomville Speedway. Dirty Jaws also asking me about asphalt racing. No, I'm not going to cover asphalt racing. Michael says, are you in a dormer? I don't know what a dormer is. Do you think that High Limit and Outlaws will coexist for Kings Royal Week? Yes. That's one thing that I think you guys need to understand about the High Limit Outlaws thing is just because there's going to be friction, especially like between the leadership, doesn't mean that there aren't other people that are working for those organizations that aren't cooperating. So Speedy wants to know if Calistoga is ever going to come back. I know that there's hope. Now that it's what is it, the county or the city now owns the racetrack and the property, so we'll see. Everybody say hi to Zach Hampton. He's in the chat. If you've been paying attention to our Sprint Car Build Series videos, Zach is obviously the one doing all of those. He's done a great job. The Geico helmet behind me is an old pit crew helmet, actually, this way. That's one of my old pit crew helmets. Yes, JDCC. I see that you're talking. I know what TC means in traction control. I don't know why you're bringing that up. That was my question. Elaborate on why you're bringing up traction control. Bobby Pierce confirmed to be racing at Brownstown and Atomic. That's good. Figured that was going to be the case. Thanks, Barry. Any talk on Logan Wagner coming out and saying the 1-inch wickers will lead to higher angles and worse dirty air? I mean, that's something that some of the drivers have talked about besides Logan Wagner is now that you're not, now that you don't have that, extra wicker bill on there, that now you guys are just, going a steeper angle on the wing to try to make up for the difference. And it's kind of having the opposite effect. What is your thoughts on Max McLaughlin running Outlaws? I mean, he's just got to get his feet underneath him, right? Haven't had that many opportunities to race yet. Season's still pretty young for the World of Outlaws late models. So just give him a chance, I think. Thank you, Steve. Glad you liked the show. Dalton says he thinks Corey Day is the next big thing in sprints. Certainly agree there. What got me into dirt racing? Actually, as a kid, the first races I ever went to were dirt races. My dad was a dirt racer himself. Kind of once we got a little bit older, we were NASCAR fans, and I didn't kind of come back to dirt until 2013 when I went to work for World Racing Group. Singalong says, you were with Casey Mears Geico crew? Yes. I changed tires on Casey's car for 3 seasons. Drake wants to know if there's any chance of me maybe going on the road to cover big events. He says Indiana Sprint Week, Indiana Midweek, Eastern Storm, Chili Bowl, or Knoxville. I'm not going to say no to any of that. Obviously, I've been to the Chili Bowl before. I don't know about the rest of that stuff. It's just, I feel like I'm kind of at this point where like doing a ton of traveling is probably not likely. I kind of quit working in NASCAR, so I didn't have to travel as much. So I'm not saying it won't happen. I mean, it already has happened this year, but it's not super high priority for me. Do you think Outlaw Sprints and High Limit will over time become like the late model side with Lucas and World of Outlaws late models, or will there continue to be friction? I think this thing is still new, right? So there's going to continue to be friction at least for a little while, but things will stabilize. Things will even out over time. Is there a female sprint car driver that you think has promise? I'm not sure, right? Like, obviously somebody like Jade Avedissian has a ton of talent, but she's already kind of onto the asphalt thing. So it's tough to say there. How do I feel about Silver Crown racing in the miles? Who doesn't like Silver Crown racing? All right, I got about 10 minutes left before I have to go get in the car line to pick the kid up. So if you have questions, get them in now because you've got about 10 minutes left. If there's anything else you guys want me to address on this Friday. Yeah, 410's canceled at Merced. What's a rule change I would make for sprint car racing? I have no idea. I mean, I think we're kind of on the verge of seeing how this wing thing is going to go with the wicker bills. We'll see if that makes a difference or not. I know a lot of guys don't love the tires we're on right now. I don't know if that's the answer. I feel like if you ask a bunch of people, you're going to get a bunch of different opinions there. Wondering, will this be a good or a bad decision for World Racing Group for purchasing ASCS? Good or bad for 360 Racing? I think it's good for 360 Racing. I mean, like World Racing Group is going to provide stability to the ASCS. You've got some guys that are kind of deep in the community there now that are going to run that deal with Lonnie Wheatley and Cody Cordell. So yeah, I think that's a good thing. Gent Jim says he loved the new slider. Yeah, if you guys don't right now, you can subscribe to the email newsletter, dirttracker.com/the slider. I had a new piece out yesterday from Pat Sullivan. Super good piece. If you haven't got a chance, you can actually read that as well over at dirttracker.com/the slider. Sign up for free over there. Lots of good stuff. I have another piece coming out probably either later today or maybe tomorrow as well. So another more good stuff coming out of the slider here soon as well. Let's see. Do you think there is a market for 410 sprints here in North Carolina? I mean, this is the issue, right? When trying to grow an area is it's like when there's not any cars here to start with, like how do you get cars to be here? None of the tracks around here run sprint cars weekly. You got the Carolina Sprint Tour, but that's 305s. It's really difficult to break into an area and try to build it up. Unless you've got somebody who's there all the time, who's really willing to kind of put in the time over the course of several years to try to build that division up. What is the worst dirt track in my opinion? I don't know. There's some really bad ones out there. I feel like I have a hot take opinion about one of the tracks that's supposed to be one of the best in the country that I think is not a good racetrack at all. And I know you guys have your opinions out there as well, but yeah, there are some not good racetracks out there. Favorite dirt track to watch sprint cars? I like short tracks for sprint cars. I like the quarter miles, the bull rings. I like some of the California stuff. Favorite track to watch fender cars? I don't know. I feel like the same way, right? I feel like short tracks are always fun. Like not that I'm against, Eldora and some of the good stuff, some of those, really big tracks. But I like beating and banging. I like tight quarters. I like that stuff. I like when you got to really get up on the wheel. What are my thoughts on Orange County Speedway not racing this year? I mean, any track not racing is not good, right? What do you think about Dalton Wilson becoming a superstar in late models? I mean, I think he's well on his way, right? And sometimes once you get that first win, it only, that's all it takes to kind of get you on a roll. And I know that team doesn't quite have the resources that some of the other teams do, but he's obviously talented, and that's what I wonder if he has, if he can stay consistent enough to stay in that chase fight all season on the Lucas side. Do you ever see an end of the year high limit versus outlaws winner take all sort of race? I mean, you're going to see that, right? You're going to see it at Kings Royal. You're going to see it at the Knoxville Nationals. You're going to see it at the High Bank Nationals. I feel like a bunch of people keep saying, oh, there should be like a joint race. And there's going to be a bunch of joint races. It's not going to necessarily be an official joint race, but you're still going to get it. Do you think Sheboygan County Fairgrounds, Wilmot, and other Wisconsin tracks got screwed after High Limit dropped them after High Limit bought out the All-Stars? High Limit didn't, High Limit wants to go to Wisconsin. Brad and those guys want to be in Wisconsin, but there are other things at play there, with, the people who promote those races and who's in charge of racetracks and things like that. So it's not like High Limit has not decided, okay, we're never going to Wisconsin. They want to go there. It's just going to be in the future whether they're able to work out those deals to make that happen. How much is my mom involved in Dirt Tracker? She does the streaming schedule. She does all of the, if you're on dirttracker.com/watch tonight, all of that data entry into the database, that's all mom. Verda trying to get me in trouble. This is the problem right now with dirt racing media, right? And Verda, says, give us the hot take. What track sucks that's supposed to be one of the best? People in this industry, if we covered dirt racing like other sports get covered, like the NFL gets covered, the NBA, Major League Baseball, this sport would melt down. This sport cannot handle people being hypercritical of anything, of drivers, of teams, of tracks, of any of it. People are incredibly thin-skinned. They get offended easily. People will not speak to you. And it's how do you have a hot take, but then, be like, okay, well, if I say this thing, then everybody's going to be mad at me and I'm going to hear about it and they're never going to speak to me again. It's a really difficult thing to do. And even the hot takes that I give on the show are very, very muted because this sport cannot handle us being hypercritical of anything. Kel's Outdoor says, Wisconsin was not screwed at all. Lots of outside factors prevented a race from happening this year. Yeah, I mean, you just have a lot of, it's politics and egos and people in charge of things, and it's just not that simple. Yeah, mom and dad are retired. They travel around in a very nice RV, and mom spends her spare time helping me out with the website. So mom is definitely a goat for sure. Speedy pit stop. High Limit lets their drivers race wherever they want. The Outlaws will not. What are the Outlaws so scared of? It's not fear. How come we have to keep having the same discussion over and over again? It has nothing to do with fear. It has everything to do with their business model, right? They've decided this is what they want to do for their business model, right? Nobody has to sign the contract. You can run every single World of Outlaws show, not sign the contract, right? And still do whatever else you want. right? The restrictions come when you want to get toll money and participate in the point fund and all of that stuff, right? They're not afraid of anything. That's just the model they've decided that works for them. High limits decided we're not going to restrict guys, right? You still have to run every high limit race, right? You still have to sign a contract. You still have to have, perfect attendance and all of those things. But yeah, on the off weekends, on the off days, you can race wherever you want. And that's fine also. But the Outlaws are not afraid of anything. I don't know why this continues to be a thing. All right, fam. It is 2:21 here on the East Coast. My little guy will be out here pretty soon, so I have to get rolling. Appreciate a couple of hundred of you who stopped by for at least a little bit here. How long have we been live for? 35 minutes, 40 minutes? So thanks everybody for hanging out for a little bit. We will be back on Sunday with a fresh daily. There will be another sprint car build video from Zach Hampton on Sunday as well. We have just a couple more of those videos left, so check that series out if you guys have not done that. But hope you guys have a good rest of your Friday, a good Saturday. Enjoy some dirt racing out there, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.